Welcome to this explainer. We're diving right into something incredibly tough today and honestly, deeply emotional. How exactly do you handle it when your kid tells you they're being bullied, but the school staff hasn't directly seen a thing? If you're watching this, you're probably feeling worried, frustrated, and fiercely protective right now. So grab a coffee, take a seat, and let's imagine we're just talking friend to friend. We're going to walk through this together, step by step, using some rock solid strategies drawn straight from the research. So you finally work up the nerve to make that call or send that message to the school, and bam, this is the response you get. I have not seen any bullying. Your child seems fine in class. I mean, hearing a teacher say that, it can instantly make your blood boil. Your heart just drops. Your kid is hurting, and it feels like the very person meant to protect them is just brushing it off entirely. Look, if that makes you furious, you are absolutely not alone. But let's just pause and take a deep breath for a second. When you get a response like that, it's so easy to fall into one of two mental traps. You start spinning, right? You wonder, wait, is my kid making this up? Are they exaggerating? Or you swing completely in the other direction. This teacher just doesn't care. It's completely natural to feel that anger and suspicion. But the reality? It's usually pretty different. The truth is, a teacher can be incredibly caring, highly skilled, deeply watchful, and still completely miss the bullying. So take a breath. We have a clear plan today. We're going to cover 1, the hidden reality, 2, common parent mistakes, 3, the CE plan, 4, communicating with the school, and 5, your action plan. Let's start with section 1, the hidden reality of bullying and exactly why adults miss the signs. So why doesn't the teacher see it? Well, because bullying is practically designed to happen in low supervision places. Think about it from a teacher's point of view. They see the classroom discussions, the group work, the obvious insults, but they don't see that chaotic 2-minute walk between classes in a packed hallway. They don't see what's happening under a lunch table or way in the back of the bus. A cruel look or a quiet threat, that happens the literal second an adult turns their back. It thrives in the corners of the playground, the locker room, and those group chats that bleed right into the next morning. And this hidden struggle perfectly explains why kids often look totally fine at school. As parents, we kind of expect a bullied kid to break down crying in front of the teacher, but they usually don't. They hide it. Why? Well, to avoid being labeled as snitch. Or they might even laugh along with the kids hurting them just to survive socially, to stay in the group. Sometimes they just freeze up when an adult asks them directly because the question is just too overwhelming. They hold it all in until they reach the absolute safety of home with you. That's when the exhaustion and the tears finally come out. Moving right along to section 2, common parent mistakes and how to avoid accidentally sabotaging your case. It is so incredibly easy to fall into this first trap. When a teacher says they didn't see it, do not treat that lack of witnesses as proof that nothing happened. And it doesn't mean the teacher failed either. If you go back to your child and say, well, your teacher says nothing happened, you completely shut the door on them. Instead, flip it. View it as highly productive data. It tells you exactly where the bullying was not seen. You want to reframe it like this. Hey, the teacher didn't see it, so let's help them know exactly where to look. Now, when your kid is hurting, you probably want to fire off an all-caps email asking how they could let this happen. And hey, that anger is totally justified. But that reactive, emotional response just puts the teacher on the defensive before you've even figured out the facts. A long venting session doesn't actually tell the staff where to watch. What's productive? Calm facts. Give them the exact dates, the specific places, like the cafeteria or the bus, the names, and the pattern of behavior. Giving them cold, hard facts makes it infinitely easier for the school to actually step up and act. It's also super tempting to demand that the teacher confront the bullies instantly. Pull everyone together for a big forced apology in front of the class. But actually, scratch that. Demanding a public apology can terribly expose your child. It might just warn the group to hide their behavior better next time. Bullying is never an equal conflict. The school needs to learn what happened and protect your child first. And that means quiet, separate, private conversations. They are just vastly safer and more effective. Okay, section 3, the SEE plan. This is a structured framework to resolve the problem. The C plan gives you 3 solid anchoring steps to really guide your partnership with the school. First, share. Share the pattern using very specific behavior words. So instead of a vague, the school is full of bullies, you say, 3 students are deliberately blocking her from the lunch table. Second, expand. The classroom teacher isn't the only one with eyes. Expand the watch to include the bus drivers, the lunch monitors, the coaches, the folks who might notice seat changes or a kid suddenly eating alone. Third, evaluate.
You don't just report this and wait around in silence. You evaluate changes on a set follow-up date to see if the behavior actually stopped or if it just migrated somewhere else. This completely takes the guesswork out of what you need to ask for.
On to section 4, communicating with the school and making sure we're getting the right message across. This specific phrasing right here, it is an absolute game changer. When you say this, you aren't demanding they believe every single detail instantly without checking. You're acknowledging their reality, that yeah, they didn't see it, but you are standing incredibly firm on your child's need for protection right now. This keeps the focus exactly where it needs to be, establishing basic, everyday safety while they gather the information. You aren't demanding a courtroom trial, you're just asking for eyes on the playground. Finally, section 5, your action plan. Let's look at a step-by-step timeline for you. Here is your 72-hour playbook. Please, take your time with this. Within the first 24 hours, just listen. Check for any immediate danger, save any photos or messages, and whatever you do, don't contact the other children directly. By 48 hours, build a small home safety plan with your kid. Pick out a trusted adult at school, a safe place they can retreat to, and ideally one supportive friend. At the 72-hour mark, that's when you send that clear, factual message to the school we just talked about. And then, at 7 days, do a calm family check-in. Compare what you're hearing at home with the school's plan. Has it stopped? Did it move online? Just evaluate. Now, I need to be super direct about something. There are absolute exceptions to this timeline. If you are dealing with physical assault, stalking, sexual images, blackmail, weapons, or any talk of a child hurting themselves or someone else, throw that standard playbook right out the window. If you encounter these extreme dangers, or honestly, if the school's bullying contact just straight up ignores your messages, you have to bypass the normal steps. Seek urgent professional, medical, or emergency help immediately. Safety always comes first. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to reassure you. A caring teacher doesn't need to have seen the very first spark to help you put out the fire. They can't see everything. And honestly, neither can we as parents. Our kids live parts of their social lives totally out of our view. But when you take those little fragments your child shares at home, organize them into cold, hard facts, and hand that map over to the school, those adults can finally connect the pieces. Hidden bullying becomes incredibly hard to hide when we're all looking in the exact right places. You and your child do not have to navigate this alone. You've got the tools now, you've got the CE plan, and you have the right words to use. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about right now. How can you take the fragmented facts your child gave you today and turn them into a clear, actionable map? What unseen spaces can you help your school start watching tomorrow?